الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه وذرياته ومن اهتدى بهديه واستنى بسنته وانتهج نهجه إلى يوم الدين تركنا المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزع عنها إلا هالك وبعد. So we have been gathering daily or nightly, depending on where you are, to reflect on some of the verses from the Quran in this blessed month of Ramadan that correspond to each juz that we may be reading, each part of the Quran we may be reading that particular night in the Taraweeh, in the night, Ramadan night prayers. So we have reached the 14th juz, and we're going to look at the verses in Surah An-Nahl, which is the 16th surah in the Quran. So An-Nahl, or the bees, beginning with verse number 61. That's 61. عند قوله تعالى ولو يؤاخذ الله الناس بظلمهم ما ترك عليها من دابة ولكن يؤخرهم إلى أجل مسمى فإذا جاء أجلهم لا يستأخرون ساعة ولا يستقدمون. يقول الله عز وجل, if God took people to task for the evil they do, He would not leave one living creature on earth, but He grants reprieve, or He reprieves them until an appointed time, أجل مسمى. When their time comes, they cannot delay it for a moment, nor can they bring it forward. So this verse, and this surah is Meccan, and it was revealed in Mecca, and this verse deals with something that is very fundamental about our aqidah, or that which we believe about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His attributes, and that namely, all that we have, all that we've been given, our very existence itself, and our continued existence, because Allah sustains our existence, is truly a blessing and a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's not a single soul, there's not a single creature that is entitled to live. It's a choice made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He need not have granted that choice to the specific creatures that include me and you and all those who lived before us and all those who will live after us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have chosen others. And that means هو المالك وهو الملك. So He is the owner and He is the sovereign over all that He has created. والمالك والملك يتصرف في ملكهما كما يشاء. And whether you're the owner of something or the sovereign over it, the king of something, that which is in your possession, that which is entirely yours, يتصرف فيه كما يشاء. To deal with it as they please, and it can never then be described as ظلم, as being wronged or oppressed. وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ بِظَلَّامٍ لِلْعَبِيدِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never wrong anybody. And so here, if Allah was to deal with us by that which we deserve, actually, and that's what He says here, وَلَوْ يُؤَاخِذُ اللَّهُ النَّاسَ بِظُلْمِهِمْ. If Allah was going to do mu'akhadha, right, if He was going to take us to task for the dhulm, right, for the wronging that we do to ourselves and to others, and وَأَقَلُّهَا is denying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The least of it is not acknowledging that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is your God and is your sovereign, and He's the one who put you here. That's a type of dhulm. وَإِنَّ الشِّرْكَ لَظُلْمٌ, right? And the shirk is a type of dhulm. And it's akbar dhulm, it's the biggest dhulm, it's the biggest wrong or oppression. So لَوْ يُؤَاخِذُ اللَّهُ النَّاسَ بِظُلْمِهِمْ وَإِنَّ الشِّرْكَ لَظُلْمٌ عَظِيمٌ, right, in the Quran. So dhulm azim is the shirk, great type of dhulm. وَلَوْ يُؤَاخِذُ اللَّهَ النَّاسَ بِظُلْمِهِمْ مَا تَرَكَ عَلَيْهَا مِنْ دَابَّةٍ. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was going to take the people to task for the dhulm, مَا تَرَكَ عَلَيْهَا مِنْ دَابَّةٍ, He would have not even left a single creature. And that means that the dawab, even the other creatures, are affected by our actions, right? Because it says here, وَلَوْ يُؤَاخِذُ اللَّهُ النَّاسَ بِظُلْمِهِمْ مَا تَرَكَ عَلَيْهَا مِنْ دَابَّةٍ. He didn't say مَا تَرَكَ عَلَيْهَا مِنْ إِنسَانٍ. He didn't say I would not leave any human beings, but not even, and dabba means مَا تَدُبَّ عَلَى الْأَرْض, that which is, moves along the earth. And so human beings, really, because we have the amana, we have the stewardship of the earth, and then all the other creatures are amanat, right? They are a trust, put into our trust. And so to punish us, if Allah were to, which He does not. So here kalimat law, so if, doesn't mean it's going to happen. In fact, it's not going to happen. But if Allah were to do with us by His adl, right? يُعَامِلْنَا بِعَدْلِهِ, by His justice, He would have not left anything on the face of the earth. وَلَكِنْ يُؤَخِّرُهُمْ إِلَى أَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى. وَلَكِنْ يُؤَخِّرُهُمْ. But rather, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them reprieve and go to an appointed time. فَإِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهُمْ لَا يَسْتَأْخِرُونَ سَاعَةً وَلَا يَسْتَقْدِمُونَ. But if their time comes, it will not be delayed, nor will it be brought forward. So that means everyone, لِكُلِّ أَجَلٍ كِتَابٍ, everybody has a particular time that they're supposed to be going back to where we came from. So right now we're in عالم الشهادة or عالم الملك. We are in the realm of the seen. And we're going back to عالم الغيب, the realm of the unseen, which we were originally. And Allah has an appointed time for every single one of us, one that is going to happen. And there's nothing we can do to move it up or to delay it or anything like that. So the words that we say kind of metaphorically, but can sometimes be a breach of etiquette with Allah, to say, this will elongate my life, or this will shorten my life, or, which we mean kind of in a metaphoric way, but I would still say nothing can make your life be longer than what it's supposed to be, and nothing can shorten your life to be shorter when it's supposed to be. When people say things like, oh, it just wasn't His time yet. No, it was His time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided this is His time. Whether they are 25 or 35 or 105. Allah has the appointed time, and that is their time. And so when we lose people, taban, we grieve, and that's normal. But we say like what the Prophet ﷺ said, إن عين لا تدمع وإن القلب يحزن ولا نقول إلا ما يرضي ربنا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. We may shed a tear and our heart is sad, but we do not say anything except that which pleases our Lord. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We are for Allah, and we are returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why they say also that if there is a lot of zulm in a place, then also Ahlillah, the people of Allah, should be doing extra, or should be doing their part to counter that, right? And one of the hadith that's mentioned here, أو في بعض الأخبار, mentioned in some of the أخبار البيحقي, I think, with Tabarani, narrated, they say, لولا شيوخ ركع وصبيان رضع وبهاء رتع لصب عليكم العذاب صبا. If it were not for older people making ruku', yani praying, وصبيان رضع, and nursing infants, yani the mercy of a nursing infant, وبهاء رتع, and the bahaim and the beasts of burden grazing in the fields, لصب عليكم العذاب صبا, then the punishment would have been sent down to you in deluges, yani sabba, would have been poured down on you. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was to deal with us by what we deserve, for our lack of gratitude, our lack of grace with Him, our lack of appreciation for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for all of the many blessings that He's given us, all of these things should be one massive show of gratitude from all of humanity. And when most of humanity is not doing that, then we should not be surprised with these trials and tribulations that we see. ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض ما عملوا ولعلهم يرجعون. So they can taste some of that which they have done, and that they may go back to, return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم احفظنا. ثم يقول عز وجل ويجعلون لله ما يكرهون وتصف ألسنتهم الكذب أن لهم الحسنى لا جرم أن لهم النار وأنهم مفرطون. They attribute to God what they themselves dislike, while their own tongues utter the lie that the best belongs to them. Without doubt, it is the fire that belongs to them. They will be given priority there. So this is kind of also a response to the mushrikeen of Quraysh, and they had various aqa'id, various sort of beliefs sometimes, like Banatullah, that Allah has daughters, for example, and that Allah has partners and things like that, so we know about that. So يَجْعَلُونَ لِلَّهِ مَا يَكْرَهُونَ. So they attribute to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what they hate for themselves. And we know that's the tradition amongst some of the Arabs, not all of them, the Bedouins and some of the Quraysh, is that they didn't like to have daughters. وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ وَالْمَوْءُودَةُ is the one that was buried alive. Allah يحفظنا, يعني a horrible thing that they used to do, because they wanted sons and boys and not daughters. But yet they used to say that Allah has daughters. And in their ri'asa, right, and in their leadership and in their being a Quraysh chieftain and so forth, they didn't want to share that with anybody. And they thought that Muhammad ﷺ was challenging them for ri'asa. That was one of the reasons that they were staunchly opposed to him, and they were defending the status quo, so forth, defending their own personal positions. But yet they ascribe to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala partners. So the things that you would hate for yourself, yet you ascribe them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَتَصِفُ أَلْسِنَتُهُمُ الْكَذِبَ أَنَّ لَهُمُ الْحُسْنَى. And then their tongues lie, literally is what it means, that they are going to have the husna, right, which is the good ending, or the aqiba, or the good denouement, and so forth. How can that be? لا جرم, يعني لا جرم لا بد, لا محالة is what لا جرم means. Absolutely will be أن لهم النار, that they will have the nar, the chastisement, وأنهم مفرطون, because of their remissness and their negligence. So there's also like an adab that we can learn from this, in that we do not ascribe anything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala الذي لا يليق, and nothing that is inappropriate for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So yes, there are there's shar, there is evil, and there is things in the dunya that surely Allah does not command to, but nevertheless He allows it to happen and He wills it. But the adab, the etiquette with Allah, is not to ascribe those things to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we don't say as kind of an act of worship, Allah khalaqa ash-shar, that Allah created evil. We say from maqam al-ta'lim, yes, when we're learning, Allah khalaqa al-khayr wa-ash-shar, khalaqa al-mawta wal-hayah. He created death and He created everything. Wallahu khalaqakum wa ta'malun bima fihi ash-shar. Allah created you and all that you do, including evil, including the devil, including hellfire. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created everything. ولكن من حيث الأدب, you also see the adab in the Quran, that when something is attributed that's good, it's attributed directly in active voice to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then when it's something considered not to be good, passive voice. Like Surah Ali Imran, زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ. زُيِّنَ. مَنَ الَّذِي زَيَّنَ? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ولكن زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ. It has been made beloved to people, حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ. The love of the shahawat, the love of appetite and desire. Yes, but we say it has been, right? So passive voice. And the jinn in Surah Al-Jinn, when they say, وَإِنَّا لَا نَدْرِي أَشَرٌ أُرِيدُ بِمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ أَمْ أَرَادَ بِهِمْ رَبُّهُمْ رَشَدًا. Here's both instances. وَإِنَّا لَا نَدْرِي. And even the jinn say, أَشَرٌ أُرِيدَ بِمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Has evil been intended for the people of the earth? أَمْ أَرَادَ بِهِمْ رَبُّهُمْ رَشَدًا. Or did their Lord desire for them rashada, guidance? So when he talked about rashada or rushd, guidance, it was said Allah yurid in active voice. But yet when it's talked about evil, وَإِنَّ لَا نَدْرِي أَشَرٌ أُرِيدَ. So urida is passive voice. We don't know if evil has been intended or not. So even the jinn know the adab etiquette with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ثم يقول الله عز وجل تالله لقد أرسلنا إلى من قبلك فزين لهم الشيطان أعمالهم فهو وليهم اليوم ولهم عذاب أليم وما أنزلنا عليك الكتاب إلا لتبين لهم الذي اختلفوا فيه وهدى ورحمة لقوم يؤمنون. So ayah 64 or 63 and 64. By God we have sent messengers before you. So this khitab is addressing Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah laqad arsalna ila min qablika. How do we know it's addressed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? One way to tell is here the kaf in qablika is a second person singular. So whenever you find second person singular in the Quran, that's addressing the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam directly. Allahi laqad arsalna ila min qablika. So we have sent messengers before you, ya Muhammad, yani understood, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to other communities, but Satan made their foul deeds seem alluring to them. He is the patron of these present disbelievers. هو وليهم اليوم, right? And that day, وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ, and a painful punishment awaits them all. وَمَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ إِلَّا لِتُبَيِّنَ لَهُمُ الَّذِي اخْتَلَفُوا فِيهِ. And we have sent down the scripture, or we have not sent it down except to make clear to them what they differ about, and as guidance and mercy to those who believe. So here also a dars in intisab al-shar ila shaitan. So the shar, the evil, has been affiliated with shaitan. Tallahi. This is what we call a type of qasam, right? A type of swearing by Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by himself, and he swears by other things in the Quran. وَالتِّينِ وَالزَّيْتُونِ وَالْفَجْرِ وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ, so forth. Here, tallahi. So the ta also can be qasam. Tallahi laqad arsalna. So it's emphasizing, certainly we have sent to communities, nations before you, min qablika, فَزَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَعْمَالَهُم. And that's one of the satanic attributes, تَزْيِينِ الْأَعْمَالِ. So it's not enough to be off the straight path, off the straight and narrow, and then recognizing it's off the straight path, but you can't help yourself. That's one thing. But Satan now makes tazyin. He adorns it and makes you think it's actually the right path. So your nafs, your ego, will try to lead you astray. And then when you get to that point that is astray, Shaitan is there waiting, right, with his snares, with his traps. And he thinks he has you. And he says, actually, you're okay over here because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kit. You know, he gives you the justifications. He'll say, oh, well, you know, you've been striving hard. Everyone needs a break once in a while. And, you know, it's just a little lie and who's going to get hurt by it? Or, you know, this relationship you're having, it's not a big deal. It's not like you're doing anything. Or, you know, the money that you work at the bank and maybe you embezzled some of it and said, well, they have a lot of money anyway. And so Shaitan, you know, he makes these sort of traps. Or hatta fil rububiyyah, you know, concerning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and saying, well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's given you very much difficulty, and, you know, he should take it easy on you a little bit, so there's nothing wrong with you taking an easy path once in a while. Tazyin, right? So he adorns that act. And this is what happens to the that came before him. فَهُوَ وَلِيُّهُمْ, right? He is their patron, he is their wali, he is their guardian and protector, but only in as much as he can have them slip in this life. You go seek him for protection in the next life and see if that he's going to, you know, help you out. He is not. He will abandon you and will disown you and disclaim you and say, I have nothing to do with it. They chose. It was not my choice. It was they who chose. And this is what Shaitan will do in the akhirah. فَهُوَ جَبَانٌ. He's a coward at the heart of it. But this is how he tries to snare people. How do we get rid of him? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إِنَّ عِبَادِي لَيْسَ لَكَ عَلَيْهِمْ سُلْطَانٌ. This is what Allah said to Shaitan. My ibad, be in the ubudiyyah, be in the service of God, worship him, sirran wa alaniyah, both in privately and publicly. Be tahaqquq al-ubudiyyah, have this servitude realized and actualized within you. لَيْسَ عَلَيْكَ إِنَّ عِبَادِي لَيْسَ لَكَ عَلَيْهِمْ سُلْطَانٌ. You will have no power over such people. And they know to say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. And then it's also addressing the Prophet, وَمَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ إِلَّا لِتُبَيِّنَ لَهُمُ الَّذِي اخْتَلَفُوا فِيهِ. And we have not sent down the Kitab, the Quran, to make clear that which they had differences about Allah, about Rububiyyah, about Uluhiyyah, about is Jesus actually the Son of God or not the Son of God? No, the Quran clearly disputes that and negates that and tells you that لله الأمر كله لله الأمر من قبل ومن بعده الله الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد. So all of these جملة عقائد, these are حقائق, these are things that are real and they are truly real about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so it resolves all dispute. And we know in that the formation of Christianity, and there's some books out there that Johnson's book about the history of Christianity, for example, and others, that for the first 400 years after Jesus alayhi salam was taken to his Lord, we don't believe he was crucified, but he was raised to his Lord, there was disputation about the nature of Jesus and the nature of God, and who's Jesus and who's God, and is he the Son, or is he part one of three, or is he just a human being, or is he part human being and part God? A lot of disputation about this. And then even in the Arabian Peninsula, after Ibrahim and Ismail established Islam, and Tawheed, idolatry was introduced centuries later into the Arabian Peninsula. So there was dispute. Keep in mind that they used to claim that this is the deen of Ibrahim. That's why you read in the Quran, وَمَا كَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَهُودِيًّا وَلَا نَصْرَانِيًّا وَلَكِنْ كَانَ حَنِيفًا مُسْلِمًا. Ibrahim was neither a Jew nor a Christian, but he was Hanif and Muslim. وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Nor was he from the Mushrikeen, nor was he from the polytheists. So this is disputing, resolving the dispute about some of the prophets and about the nature of God. So, وَمَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ إِلَّا لِتُبَيِّنَ لَهُم, to make clear to them, الَّذِي اخْتَلَفُوا فِيهِ, that which they differed in. And also, وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً لِقَوْمٍ يُؤْمِنُونَ, and it is guidance and mercy for those who believe in it. For those who believe in it, they will find guidance and mercy beyond the resolve of this resolution of disputes. ثم يقول عز وجل والله أنزل من السماء ماء فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يسمعون. Ayah 65. It is God who sends water down from the sky, and with it revives the earth when it is dead. There truly is a sign in this for people who listen. We've talked before about Kitab Allah al-Mastur wa Kitab Allah al-Manzur. So Kitab Allah al-Mastur is the Quran, right, that was revealed to us in the lines, in words. Wa Kitab Allah al-Manzur. And the created world is also a book that can be read. And the Quran points us and shows us how to read creation. So the next set of few verses here explicate that and expound upon that. This is the first one. وَاللَّهُ أَنزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً فَأَحْيَا بِهِ الْأَرْضَ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهَا. And Allah sent down from the sama, from the sky, the heavens, مَاءً, water, rain. فَأَحْيَا بِهِ الْأَرْض. And He revives the earth, brings it back to life, بَعْدَ مَوْتِهَا, after it is dead. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَسْمَعُونَ. And in this there is an ayah for those who listen, or those who hear. So, what is the ayah then? What is the sign that we're supposed to see in that? Well, one of the signs is, just like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can revive things in this terrestrial realm, right? If you look into the winter in like any city in a northern climate, like a forest, that has the 4 seasons, you'll see that in winter everything is gone. And it looks like it's completely dead. And if you didn't have the experience of the seasons and seeing the years go by, you wouldn't assume that could come back to life, because it looks like it's no leaves, darkened, no vegetation. It looks even dry, like in some climates where you have the dry season and the rainy season also. The land looks parched, and you think, how can this possibly come back to life? Well, that's an ayah. So just like we will be resurrected, we will come back to life also. So even when we're a lifeless corpse, we will be brought back to life as well. And this is no more difficult for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than bringing back to life the land because of rain and in the spring. So this is an ayah لِقَوْمٍ يَسْمَعُونَ. So there's an ayah, there's a sign in this for those who can listen. Why did he say لِقَوْمٍ يَسْمَعُونَ? He didn't say لِقَوْمٍ يَتَدَبَّرُونَ or قَوْمٍ يُبْصِرُونَ. So al-ibsar with the ru'yat al-qalbiyya, with the inner eye, takes more of a contemplation and tadabbur. What here لِقَوْمٍ يَسْمَعُونَ, يعني you don't have to be that contemplative to see that. It's very clear for anyone. So they say بِأَدْنَى تَنْبِيهٍ, by the most minimal of indications and most minimal of signs, you could see clearly that that came back to life. We also can come back to life. ثم يقول الله عز وجل وإن لكم في الأنعام لعبرة نسقيكم مما في بطونه من بين فرث ودم لبنا خالصا سائغا للشاربين ومن ثمرات النخيل والأعناب تتخذون منه سكرا ورزقا حسنا إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يعقلون. In livestock too, you have a lesson. Al-an'am, an-na'am, which means it's kind of a similar word to the word blessing, as you know this. So in ni'mah, here is an-na'am, so not kasra but fatha, and then the plural is an'am. So it means that which are blessings to you, namely the beasts of burden or livestock. And this is generally meant to mean camels and cows and sheep and goats. And all of those animals, as we will see from this verse, their milk can be consumed by human beings. So in livestock too, you have a lesson. We give you a drink from the contents of their bellies, between moist matter and blood, بين فرث ودم, pure milk, لبنا خالصا سائغا للشاربين, sweet to the drinker. From the fruits of date palms and grapes, you take sweet juice and wholesome provisions. There truly is a sign in this for people who use their reason. So the verses from before talked about the rain, or the verse from before talked about the rain, and then bringing the earth back to life. أحيا به الأرض بعد موتها. And then also part of kind of this look at nature and the ecosystem and how it works and how it's interconnected and works in sort of, turn what do you say, in lockstep, right, one with the other. And so if the rain didn't come and the ground was not vegetating, not grow, then where are you going to get the beasts of burden, or where are you going to get the an'am? So it all kind of works perfectly together. And you could also say there's an ishara in these verses that says that these things should be preserved and that these resources may be maintained, because this is Allah's plan for them, as we see here. وَإِنَّ لَكُمْ فِي الْأَنْعَامِ لَعِبْرَةً. And in these an'am, there's a sign, عِبْرَةً, right? Not just ayah, but عِبْرَةً, اعتبار. اعتبار, I think, means more of a deeper look and not so perhaps as obvious as what we saw before in the verse before about the land and the rain. So, إِنَّ لَكُمْ فِي الْأَنْعَامِ لَعِبْرَةً نُسْقِيكُم مِّمَّا فِي بُطُونِهِ. Right, we give you a drink from that which is in their bellies. مِن بَيْنِ فَرْثٍ وَدَمٍ لَبَنًا خَالِصًا. Right, the milk that comes out of the udder of the cow or the camel or the sheep or the goat. How does that all work out? Because inside, if you were to cut open that animal, you'd find blood, and you'd find the small intestine, large intestine, you find farth, waste matter, excrement. But yet from in there comes out labanan khalisan, pure milk that doesn't have the color of blood and doesn't have the color of waste. It's actually white. Subhanallah, of all the colors Allah subhanahu could have chosen, He could have chosen another color, right? He could have chosen something closer to the color of the internal organs of the animal, maybe more reddish or brown in color or something like that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it white. And we know the animal is not doing well if there's blood in the milk. But if it is doing well, it's a healthy animal. Labanan khalisan, right? Pure milk that comes out. Sa'igan, right? Sa'igan, that is good and sweet for, and quenches the thirst of the sharibin, those who drink from it. وَمِن ثَمَرَاتِ النَّخِيلِ وَالْأَعْنَابِ. Right, and also from the thamar, from the fruits of the nakhil, which is the date palm tree, and al-a'nab, grapes, تَتَّخِذُونَ سَكَرًا وَرِزْقًا حَسَنًا. Sakaran, he translated as sweet juice. Some of them said that actually means khamr, or wine, and also from the date palm. The Quraysh or the Mushrikeen, they used to, before the tahrim, before it was made haram, they used to take the date palm and also make intoxicating drink out of it. Some of them said it means that, and then it was mansukh. So when the tahrim of khabar, of intoxicating drink, came down, then this verse is not legitimizing it, but it's showing you as a sign that from the date palm tree, and from this is things that you have taken that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has furnished for you. And some of them said sakran doesn't mean, the sakar here doesn't mean intoxicating, or it just means that which you can use of the fruits of the dates and of the grapes for legitimate purposes, which seems more a kind of reasonable tafsir of it. Wallahu a'lam. But the ibrah, the ayah, is from the thamar, from the fruits of these trees that also grow from the ground, that also are irrigated by the rainwater that come down upon it, or the underground aquifers. رِزْقًا حَسَنًا, so a good sustenance. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. And in this, there is an ayah, there are signs لِقَوْمٍ now يَعْقِلُونَ. The first one said, لِقَوْمٍ يَسْمَعُونَ, for those who can hear. Yani, hearing, you can hear from far away, and doesn't take a lot of mental activity. أَمَّا قَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ, هذا من العقل, right, from the intellect. So it means it takes a little contemplation. Maybe it's not so obvious. You know, we're used to, I get the milk from, we'll run down the supermarket list again, Costco, Target, Carrefour, Lulu Hypermarket, Kroger. Hope I covered all of it. And then you say, oh, look, we have milk. But you don't think, well, how did it actually get here? And how did the fruits that I find in the fruit stand get here? And all of that thing. We don't kind of lose a little bit of a connection with, with the miracle that it is actually, and the blessing that it is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitates all this for us. And, when farmers start their, planting for their crop, and they turn over the ground and they seed it and so forth, and a lot of work goes into it for a result that may or may not be forthcoming, right? In the harvest season, you may have a good harvest, you may have a bad harvest, you may have no harvest, you may have a disaster. Fruit, orange tree growers in Florida, for example, all they need is a couple nights of frost when it's not supposed to happen in Florida, in the USA, and they lose their crop. That's what's called a ja'iha. And that does happen. But all of that work goes in, and they have this, I think, natural tawakkul, reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the one, and even in Medina, when the Prophet ﷺ came to Medina, one of the things that they do, that they initiate as a custom or a tradition, is that when the first signs of the harvest were there, يعني أول بدو الثمار, they would bring some to the Prophet ﷺ of the dates and seek his barakah and seek his blessing that they have a successful harvest. And the Prophet ﷺ obliged them in ذلك. Alhamdulillah. And then the ayah after that, وَأَوْحَى رَبُّكَ إِلَى النَّحْلِ أَنِ اتَّخِذِي مِنَ الْجِبَالِ بُيُوتًا وَمِنَ الشَّجَرِ وَمِمَّا يَعْرِشُونَ ثُمَّ كُلِي مِنْ كُلِّ الثَّمَرَاتِ فَاسْلُكِي سُبُلَ رَبِّكِ ذُلَلًا يَخْرُجُ مِنْ بُطُونِهِمَا شَرَابٌ مُخْتَلِفٌ أَلْوَانُهُ فِيهِ شِفَاءٌ لِلنَّاسِ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. And I think the last verse that we'll look at. Then feed on all kinds of, and your Lord inspired the bee, 68, saying, build yourselves houses in the mountains and trees and what people construct. Then feed on all kinds of fruit and follow the ways made easy for you by your Lord. From their butun, which can mean bellies, or their insides, because I think the process is that the bee has a separate digestive system for honey, and then it actually regurgitates that out, but it comes out as honey, not from their digestive system. It's a separate system, from what I understand. So from their bellies, or from their butun, from their internal organs, comes a drink of different colors, namely honey, in which there is healing for people, fihi shifa'un linnas. And then there's truly a sign in this for those who make fikr, for those who think, or those who contemplate. Interesting language in the beginning. وَأَوْحَى رَبُّكَ إِلَى النَّحْلِ, and your Lord, أوحى, He inspired. Now this word أوحى comes from the word wahi, which is the same word that is used for the revelation when it refers to prophets and messengers. وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ إِلَيْهِ. Right? He doesn't speak of his own volition, but it's a wahi. It's a revelation that goes to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَّا أُمِّ مُوسَى أَنْ أَرْضِعِيهِ. And we made this wahi to the mother of Moses to nurse him, right? وَأَوْحَى رَبُّكَ إِلَى النَّحْلِ. So it depends upon who the recipient is, how we understand it. So if it's a prophet and messenger, then we say it is wahi revelation. We say wahi al-ahkam. So the wahi of ahkam means that there's a sharia and that there are commands that are supposed to be also communicated to everyone else, like in the wahi that goes to messengers. And then the wahi could be just an inspiration, so an inspiration to a human being. So we wouldn't say, customarily, awha rabbi ilayk, my Lord, give me this wahi. We would say, mumkin alhamani, right? Alhamani means he inspired me, but that's the same meaning. So what does it mean when it comes to the bees? There's actually in the Islamic literature quite a diverse set of opinions about the nature of other creatures besides human beings. In that, I think we did do in one of the previous sessions, we talked about that there's no all of the illa amthalukum ma faratna fil kitabi min shay. I think that happened Surah Al-Araf, that there is not an ummah of animals except they're an ummah like you. So ummah like us means what? And actually, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about the bee here is one of the more sophisticated sort of social animals, as it were. Extremely sophisticated, and especially the honeybees and how the production of honey goes, and central command in the queen bee, and how signals are sent out, and how they all kind of work in unison. And I haven't studied it enough, but I've read a little bit about it, and it's subhanAllah, it's something that if you try to organize a group of human beings to kind of work in the manner that bees do, you probably wouldn't be able to do it with the efficiency and the productivity that bees are able to do. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired the bee. So does that mean the bee is sentient in a sense? Does it understand what it's doing, and does it communicate? And some said yes. Shaykh al-Akbar ibn al-Arabi, radiallahu anhu, he said that the difference between animals and us is a nutq. In other words, they communicate to one another, and they just can't communicate to us, except to whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses for them to communicate to. So we know the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, certain animals communicated to him. Some of them even complained to him. The camel that complained about its owner and that it was being abused by the owner, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade the owner from doing that. The camel spoke to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And they said, even Ibn Arabi said, ممكن هذا للجمادات, even for things that we don't consider to be alive animals, like the date palm tree stump that was in the mosque of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ took it as a mimbar, and then they built him a mimbar, and then he left it, and then everyone heard a scream. هذا في الحديث الصحيح. Everyone heard a scream, and it was the date palm tree. It was يعني تشكو فراق النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. It was sad and grieving that the Prophet ﷺ was not going to use it anymore. And the Prophet ﷺ actually consoled it. He consoled the date palm stump. So that is kind of an indication that there is a type of, something we can understand. And the Quran also tells us, وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُ. And there's nothing except that it sings and hymns the praises of God, except you don't understand it. You don't understand how they're praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, Allahu A'lam, I think that is a valid way to look at it. Others said no, they're not aqil, right? They don't have intellect, they're not mukallaf. In other words, they're not held to task, even though there is some hadith, as we mentioned in the previous session, that say that even the unhorned sheep will take its right from the horned sheep. A horned sheep, that a ram or something that hit it, will take its right, and there'll be some type of hisab for that. So all of those things we can speculate about, wallahu a'lam, but I feel comfortable with the idea that animals do have arwah, type of souls that maybe we don't know too much about, and that they're able to communicate and feel things, and maybe to certain people Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them the ability to understand what they're saying. That's ليس ذلك على الله بعزيز. That's not impossible for Allah, and certainly that happened with the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. So أوحى ربك وأوحى إلى النحل أن اتخذي من الجبال بيوتا. So Allah inspired the bees to take from the mountains as homes and from the trees, and وَمِمَّا يَعْرِشُونَ, and that even within, people, what their man-made buildings, and you find honey, what's the thing called, the honeycomb, the hive, in many places. ثُمَّ كُلِي مِنْ كُلِّ الثَّمَرَاتِ فَاسْلُكِي سُبُلَ رَبِّكَ. Then eat from all of the thamarat. And that's why we have all these varieties of honey, depending on what the bee feeds upon. So whether it's, whether there's sunflower, or whether there's oranges, or whether there's cashews, and the nectar of or the flavor of the honey will be based upon that. Then you have different grades of honey, depending on how pure it is, and the sifting process afterwards. فَاسْلُكِي سُبُلَ رَبِّكِ ذُلُلًا. Then seek the subul of your Lord, the ways that Allah has facilitated for you by your Lord, and made it easy. ذُلُلًا يَخْرُجُ مِنْ بُطُونِهَا شَرَابٌ مُخْتَلِفٌ أَلْوَانُهُ. And then from its organs come this sharab مختلف ألوان, even different colors, as we said. فِيهِ شِفَاءٌ لِلنَّاسِ. In it there is a shifa, there is a healing. Some of them understood that honey itself is healing power by itself, which is true, and some said it can be used as an ingredient or additive to other things that can then be as a source of healing, physical healing for people. And then there's a whole science behind that. Tibb al-Nabawi, prophetic medicine, or and Tibb al-Yunani, also Greek medicine, ancient Greek medicine, has elements of that. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. And in this there is a sign for people who have tafakkur. لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. So use their fikr. And you may say this is even a more of a contemplative state than قَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. يَعْقِلُونَ means maybe think about it. Oh, okay, that makes sense. But يَتَفَكَّرُونَ means tadabbur, tafakkur, yani. And fikr is usually maqroon bil-dhikr. Maqroon means they're connected. Fikr and dhikr, that's why the words are almost the same. And the understanding from the Quranic imperative is that in order to have insightful fikr, you need to have penetrative dhikr. Right? Surah Ali Imran. إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض. So in the signs, again, of the turning of day into night, night into day, and the creation of the heavens and the earth, there is ayat, there are signs, the ulil albab, right? We talked about this before, ulil sahib al-lub, the one of pure essence. الذين يذكرون الله. Who are these people, ulil albab? The people who remember Allah, have dhikr of Allah in all their positions. قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم. Standing and sitting down and on their sides. And what else do they do? ويتفكرون. Same word here. ويتفكرون. And they contemplate, think about the creation of heavens and the earth. And what do they say? ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك. You did not create all of this in vain. In other words, we know it is a sign. We see it as a sign. We take it as a sign. And the thing that you're supposed to do with signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is learn from them, contemplate them, and draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and be more fervent in your seeking of God and of your commitment to being the best version of yourself. So, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. We'll stop here, inshallah, for this session. Barakallahu feekum. Nas'al Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala an yarzuqna jami'an السمع والتعقل والتفكر والتدبر والتفكر في آيات الله والتقرب إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى، وأن يفيض علينا بنفحاته وبركاته، وأن نعقل ما يقول لنا، ونعقل ما يجري أمامنا من الآيات، ثم نتضرع إليه ونطلبه ونشكره ونصبر على طاعته، ونصبر على الأقدار وما يجري علينا من المحن والبلايا، وأن نرى في هذه المحن والبلايا في طيها منح إن شاء الله. جزاكم الله خير. بارك الله فيكم. نسأل الله لكم ولنا العفو والعافية الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.